Oikwe, Anin. Welcome to the unceded territory. This is who we are.
My name is Douglas Cardinal. I'm from the Sucker Creek Cree First Nation in Treaty Number 8 on the great shores of the Lesser Slave Lake. Edmonton's been my home since the last century. I won't tell you when, but it was a while ago. And so Edmonton has become my home. My ancestors are buried in the River Valley system here, going back before contact and before the fort. So this truly is an ancestral home for me. And why I do the work I do to bring our Indigenous story alive within the city, because we have so much to offer in terms of our knowledge and traditions, and to be a part of Edmonton and its culture. So we also are linked to the story that Douglas has put together for us. For some of you who don't know this, this is really like Douglas's family or traditional city, I guess, home city, you can call it that way. He really became renowned by the work that he's done when he was living here in Edmonton and Red Deer, from where he's from. But he wanted to kick this off here in the exhibit here in Edmonton as a part of reconnecting to that history. And so we're very honored that he has chosen us. And yes, we are related. He's my seventh cousin once removed. But then again, I've had a lot of cousins removed. No, sorry, bad joke. But I call him uncle because of what he means to me. And that term is utilized in our communities as a way of affection and a way of respect and acknowledging him. So I've been very honored to have gotten to know him over the years and to be able to work with him now in this project and other projects. So the exhibit, Unceded, Voices of the Land, is going to be here until, well, it's going to start on March 8th, and it'll run until National Aboriginal Day on June 21st. And then we'll be moving the exhibit to Calgary. And so then that will be from July 4th, I think it is. I'm looking at Jason. July 4th, I'll be running that for a few months there as well. And of course, we'll have more information on that later. And you can get more information on the Unceded Voices of the Land at our website, unceded.org. And tomorrow at 10 a.m., it'll be hot and ready for the purchase of tickets. So you can go to that site, you can reserve your tickets, and then you'll be on your way, and then we'll see you here. So the exhibit is, well, this is why we have our speakers, because they're going to talk about the exhibits in more detail than I have. And I recognize we do have a limitation of time, and I don't want to take up all the time that we do have. But I do want to acknowledge our, well, first of all, board member Stan Altis. He's right there. And I'm also a board member on Unceded, not-for-profit company. And Jason is our coordinator. Jason, where are you? There you are. There it is. Take a bow. And Jason has been tremendous in keeping us all strung together and getting this project moving forward in such a good way. So thank you, Jason, for that wonderful work. And so we want to acknowledge our presenting sponsors, which is ATCO and Higher Good. And we'll hear from both of them in a little while. But also we want to acknowledge our public funders like City of Edmonton, Travel Alberta, Prairies Economic Development Canada, and also additional support from CIBC, the Edmonton International Airport, the Edmonton Community Foundation, and Varen. So thanks to them, they've helped us to pull this together. And we're starting to do, on the other side of this mural, we're starting to develop and put together the exhibit itself. So it's going to take a couple weeks at least, right? Yeah. And then so it'll be up. So March 7th, we'll be having an opening ceremony here in this very space. And then we'll be also having a gala upstairs to celebrate Douglas's 91st birthday and the opening. Yeah. And the opening of the exhibit as well. So that's that. So let me, without further ado, really introduce our key speaker. But before I say that, after Calgary, we are now having discussions with Melbourne and Switzerland, 2 museums in Switzerland who are interested in bringing this there. So we're going global, and it has a wonderful story. So it's something that we need to share with our brothers and sisters from everywhere. So we're looking forward to that. It started in Venice in 2017, the first Canadian presentation to the 2018 Venice Biennale on architecture. And, that's the pinnacle of the architectural world. And so Douglas was commissioned by Canadian Heritage to develop this, and this is what he developed. So you'll be seeing that. And then it was in Ottawa in 2019 and ran for, how many, about 9-10 months, something like that? Yeah. Anyway, so then we said, well, let's bring it here, let's bring it home, and then we'll start from here. Okay, without further ado, let me introduce a man who needs no introduction, Douglas Cardinal, architect.
I was asked by my elders, particularly my grandmothers, to make sure that when we present ourselves to Europe in the Biennale, that we present ourselves as people that have something very important to contribute to the other peoples of the world, that we have a special relationship with our Creator to ensure that we look after our beautiful blue planet and respect whatever we do so that we don't cause problems for our fellow people and our fellow beings on the planet, the birds, the fish, the animals, our buffalo, and of course ourselves, in the way we conduct ourselves. So they asked me to make sure that we present ourselves in a good way and be mindful of the fact that we were asked by our prophecies to teach about loving and caring and respect for all life on this beautiful earth. And that's what we were asked to do in all the prophecies, that there'll be a day when people come from all over the world here, and then we'll be able to share them our knowledge and wisdom so that we can turn our responsibility to care for everything, to care for everyone, to care for all life, and that we will be the teachers of the new generations, because we have learned a lot from our history and our experiences of living on this land. So I really appreciate all the people involved in creating this vision. And many people try to change this vision, and even in Venice tried to change this vision. And we had a grandmother who was actually she was the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. She said nobody's going to change this vision. And they put pressure on her. They tried to even have her involved in another vision for Canada. And she said, I'm the patron. And she said to the Italian government, I'm the patron and I represent this vision for Canada. And so she stood with us. and so we were able to make it happen in Venice. It's not only our grandmothers, but the grandmothers from Ontario, and she talked to the grandmothers in Venice, and so it was the women that made this happen, because the women understand the responsibility they have of raising their children in a world that does not honor women and respect women as they should. So this wouldn't have happened without the support of women internationally and my Basque wife in particular.
My turn is coming, don't worry.
whose people are matriarchal, and they haven't lost their roots. They survived by moving into caves in the Pyrenees when the last ice age, and they kept their traditions for 2,000 years. And when I go out there, I was invited to a mountain where they have a what is it called? A medicine wheel on top of the mountain, 2,000 years before Christ. So that's how far back this very important message goes. So I feel really particularly appreciative of Stan and Rob, who were the ones who had to put this message together on the latest technology, and so they kept that vision solid, even though they were under terrible pressure, and it cost them a lot, personally and emotionally and spiritually, to stand with us. So they are truly our spiritual brothers.
Yeah. You good?
Very powerful, and thank you for sharing so much with us, and thank you for sharing this wonderful exhibit with the city of Edmonton and so many of our relatives and friends. It'll be a wonderful time, and I hope to see you all here on March 7th. So we're going to have our next speaker is Stan Oltis, and he's the technical guru in this whole thing, and he's also on our board, but he certainly is an artist in his own right, and well established and very successful, and he brings that and helping us to make this presentation and this exhibit what it is. So let me introduce Stan Oltis.
Thank you, Douglas. Thank you. I'm one of those people that really dislike public speaking, but like so many different things, you rise to the cause. And I have to say that I first met Douglas in 2017. We were on the rooftop of the Park Plaza looking down into Bay Street and all the colonialism that was there. And Douglas made me a little emotional.
Yeah.
Anyway, we looked down on Bay Street, and Douglas told me his vision. And I had an associate with me at the time, and the vision was to change how we look at life and to bring, get past the genocide, move forward, and get to a point where there's loving and caring that is intrinsically in us, and how to bring that across. And he wanted to use a massive display with the highest technology that was available at the time. And he wanted to blast basically 500 linear feet of 9.5-foot walls with video that talked about the beauty of nature and the horrible past and the wonderful future. And that the curvilinear walls were like water. The flow of people would go through and react to that in this way. I've always said that this is an experience for the heart. So many people went through this, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, and were completely transformed, felt the healing, and left with great ideas in their mind as to how they could take this and make it work in their own lives. And I'm so thrilled that we can do this again and again and again. And that's it, really. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Stan. So our next speaker, of course, is Adoya Arana Biobidi, Basque woman, and someone who is a very good teacher in her own right. So, Adoya.
As you know, my name is Idoia Arana Biobide. That's pronounced right. And yes, I'm Basque, Euskalduna naiz. The Basque people are the indigenous peoples of Europe, and we speak this ancient language, non-Indo-European language. And so Douglas and I, we total opposites, right? I'm Colgate, he's Crest. I drink wine, he doesn't. I am a meat eater, he doesn't eat meat. But what we always agreed on was values, and we could understand what it is to be peoples, indigenous peoples, in colonization, forced acculturalization. I had to learn Spanish at school. I had to learn how to read and write in Spanish before in Basque, right? You know, because our language is oral tradition. And so there were a lot of similarities with indigenous peoples of Canada and the rest of the world, really. And so we met in 1988, so that's a couple of years ago. And well, just to tell you that we married, but I'm also the, I guess, executive director at Douglas Cardinal Architect. So we have a life partnership and a business partnership, and so far so good, right? I remember when the Indigenous Task Force of RAIC asked for Douglas to present and made a pitch to be the presenters for Venice Biennale. And the first thing that he asked is like, where are the grandmothers? And you may be asking the same question right now. Where are the grandmothers? Well, I talked to them, and actually Jane Chartrand, grandmother Jane Chartrand, who is the grandmother that opens the exhibit, she told me today that yesterday she raised her pipe and she did a ceremony. And so she's with us. And she told me to tell you that the pipe was a well. It's a well pipe, which is very interesting because, again, the well are these matriarchal creatures of the sea, and they represent bounty, you know, and wealth, I guess, for even indigenous peoples like us, that we hunted whales. And so if the bison is that animal for the plains, the whale is for the coast, right? And the fact that she raised this symbol of water, like Stan was saying, it is so meaningful because she's, like, I feel now so strong that she's with us, right? So grandmother then Jane, is with us. Also, grandmother Eulalia, who's a Siksika, is with us, and they will be coming on the big opening next for Douglas' birthday, right? They're really, really, really excited to be here. So that's all I wanted to tell you, that for Douglas, the whole history of matriculturalism, of matriarchy, the power of woman, the power of water as a life source. Ooh, somebody got excited. It's very, very important. And with that, that's it. I think that was my cue to stop. Thank you.
Your words were just so powerful. The poor little microphone was shaking and fell off. But as you can see, she's a very amazing person. She brought her own spotlight. I don't know how you did that, but that was awesome. I guess the grandmothers were shining on you this time. So thank you so much. Okay, so our next speaker is Mr. George Constanescu from ATCO. He's the Executive Vice President and Chief Transformation Officer. I love that title, Chief Transformation Officer. I wish I could be one. Anyway, come on up, George. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
What's that?
Perfect. Good morning, everyone. Yes, transformation officer. Most of the time, I'm asked what that means, and I think this event, this exhibition, is going to be the most beautiful explanation of what my job really is. It's to bring positive transformation into the world, and Douglas has certainly done more than his fair share of that. On the theme of strong women, on behalf of my boss, Nancy Southern, the Southern family, and all my friends and colleagues at ATCO, I'd like to extend a warm welcome home to Douglas, and welcome Idoia. It is a true pleasure and honor to have you amongst us. As ATCO, we're extremely proud to be the principal sponsor of Unceded. It's going to be an extraordinary exhibition. It celebrates the visionary work of Douglas, which I'm sure all of us are familiar with. And importantly, the next generation of Indigenous architects. It's a landmark exhibition which highlights how cutting-edge technologies and timeless Indigenous knowledge converge to shape innovative architectural forms, functions, and beauty that resonates globally. Unceded serves as a profound reminder of the deep connection Indigenous peoples have always maintained with the land. It invites visitors to reflect on the rich opportunities that arise when Indigenous wisdom is honored and integrated within our technologically driven present to build a sustainable and inclusive future. Unceded is more than an exhibition. It is a powerful dialogue between tradition and innovation, a testament to the resilience and brilliance of Indigenous design, and an invitation for all who envision a world where technology and cultural heritage coexist harmoniously. At ATCO, building strong and respectful and lasting relationships with Indigenous communities is at the core of who we are. We're deeply honored to support Unceded and to enjoy our time together with Douglas, Idoia, and the rest of you. Thank you and welcome.
Okay, thank you, Thank you, George. Our next speaker is going to be City of Edmonton Councillor Ann Stevens for representing Ward O'Damon and bringing greetings from the city.
Hello and good morning. My name is Ann Stevenson. I have the honor of representing Ward O'Damon, where we are gathered today and where this amazing exhibition is going to happen. So Douglas and Adoya, thank you so much. It is a true honor. And I'm delighted to bring greetings on behalf of Mayor Amarjeet Sohi and all of my colleagues on City Council. So in addition to being a city councillor, I'm also a city planner. I studied urban design and how we build our cities. And what I think we've seen and what's been demonstrated is that the colonial approach, the Western approach to city planning has, allowed us to move goods very quickly from point A to point B. It's helped to separate, dangerous factories from schools. But it has not always been successful in creating cities of connection with each other and with the land on which cities exist. Having different perspectives, bringing these powerful knowledge to how we build communities and how we build our spaces in cities is so important in our communities now. And I'm so delighted that this will be here in the heart of our city so that we can hear the voices of the land and build a better Edmonton for everyone. So I am so looking forward to this. Thank you again so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. And now our last speaker is Jody Phelan, and she's a co-founder and CEO of Higher Good. Thank you for your support. Please come on up.
Honored to lead Higher Good, which is a team here in the city of Edmonton. We work a lot of the front lines and work with a lot of the Indigenous people in our communities. And not only that, we employ the majority of Indigenous staff here in the city. So when Jason left my office the other day, we were so honored to be asked to be a part of this. I think it's going to bring a lot to everything that's going on, and to be able to be in the city here as well, where we don't always get to experience beautiful adventures like this. And I just felt I could just already hear the stories our team's going to be telling after they get to learn and feel the culture that goes on. There's a lot of deep spiritually cultural people amongst our staff, and they teach us a lot every day. And I'm just so proud and amazed that this is going to be here in the city and that our team gets to be a part of it, because they deserve it and Edmontonians deserve it. And it's about being a community and being one with each other. Everyone's always so separated, and I really feel like we have to be here for each other in this community. It's not this person and that person. It's become a passion of mine this last year, is that we just got to see each other as family. Everybody is a family. That's my family member. You're my family member, and you're my family member. We all got to start taking care of each other. And I just feel like this is a start for us. And I can feel the energy here, and it's so beautiful. I got shivers just walking in here today. And so I just want to thank everyone. And I really want to thank Jason for reaching out to us and allowing us to be a part of this, because we're going to tell stories of this for years to come. I feel it. Thank you so much.
Okay, so just one more point before I open up for questions. And please, when you do have your questions, just identify who you'd like to have address it, and I'll do my best to move the microphone around and get people up to respond. But I just want to honor two individuals that need to be recognized for their commitment to this project, and they're not here at this time, but that is our honorary patrons, which is Grand Chief for Treaty 6, Chief Greg Desjardins, and Lieutenant Governor Salma Lakhani, who are two of our honorary patrons. So, and they will be here on our opening ceremony day. So so thank you. Okay, please.
After my church, I was thinking, because I had this priest who felt that our Indigenous worldview was so important to him. But he was not a Canadian, he was from Germany. And he says, even as children, we learn about your First Nations history by Carla May, who wrote all about it. And that's one of the first things that we learn as children is how to be a human being. So I still remember all the words she said in there about your culture, and I feel that's very important and that's why I want you to be the architect for the new liturgy for the church. This is the first time that, although the Pope wanted to make the new liturgy put the people forward and respect the people and change even our plan of our mass and the way we do our rituals in the church. We want to change them back to where they were when the early Christians had to perform their ceremonies in the catacombs. And so we had to hide out in order to be our loving and caring ways that we wanted to pass on to other people. So, and we had to move our, Constantine recognized the importance of our message, but there was no place for our assembly in our masses and rituals. So we had to move into the old courthouses, the Roman courthouses, which had a basilica plan. And so all of our rituals and our ceremonies were done in a Roman courthouse plan. And so the Pope says that's not the base for our message of loving and caring for each other. So we have to change that plan. And that was quite an undertaking. For 2,000 years, they had a Roman basilica plan for the masses and ceremonies in the church. And Father Merck says, we're going to change that plan totally to meet the new liturgy. What a task he had. And but the Archbishop agreed with him. And even though he had appointed another architect to do the church in Red Deer, the Archbishop said, no, we have to follow your vision, Father Merckx. We have to change that plan to follow our teachings of love and caring and put the people first. And so we went through the process of changing the 2,000-year-old plan into our present. And that was the commitment of the church. And so let's get back to our loving and caring and not always have to feel we're surrounded by authority by being in this old basilica plan. Because the old basilica plan is about power and authority, and that has got us in trouble with our people we're serving. So we have to change that old basilica plan so it is in an environment of loving and caring. So that was our task. It was extremely important. And then when I got through the church, I thought, you know, I went through this whole process with Father Merckx, and I know I had a difficult time in the residential school that I was brought up in, but I was able to survive because of the environment and the art and love that I saw in all the architects and artists throughout history and the music. And so I turned to music to survive and thrive in that environment so that I could make a contribution in my life. What was important to me, I thought, why shouldn't all buildings be spiritual, particularly buildings of authority? So I was then, I went to a ceremony with one of my very powerful elders. And in the ceremony, he said, you have to continue what you're doing. You will have the support from me and as many people as I can muster to support you. But there is something that came to me from the grandfathers. And I said, okay. He said, you're going to have to design spiritual buildings in front of both nations' capitals. I said, are you kidding? You know, I mean, he said, no, your job is to let them know in both state capitals in Canada and the United States that we're still here and we're still looking at you. We're not going to go away and we're watching you. So just look out our windows and you'll see a monument in front of both of you that is talking to you and saying to you that there'll be one day you're going to have to do it right. And you're going to have to learn from the people across the way within eyesight of you. So your job is to make sure that our voice is in front of both nations' capitals. And I couldn't believe that. I said, I won't be able to do this. And he said, you will have all the power you need to do this. Even though nobody will agree with you, that doesn't matter. You just go and do it. I mean, do it. Take action. Do it. I mean, it's not about talking about it. It's about doing it. We're not people that just talk. We're people that take action. We keep our word. We walk our word. Our words are we follow our teachings and we walk our words. So here's a pair of new moccasins. You go walk the talk. And walking the talk is to say something in both nations' capitals, right in their face. So I thought this is going to be one hell of a journey. In Washington, they just had control of the exteriors and all the landscaping and all that. So they just got control of the body, but they didn't get control of the voice. The voice still has to be spoken inside. And one day it will be. And I don't know if I'll be around to do it, but someone will be around to do it, to put our voice in the body that I created there for them, with the support of all the grandmothers. So, unfortunately, our guys sometimes get overwhelmed with power. And, you know, it's okay beating your chest, but if you want to beat your chest, you should, with one hand, you should hold the other hand someone who comes from the heart. So you come from the heart too. Yeah.